There are just 2 episodes left of The White Lotus Season 3, and things are certainly heating up. The White Lotus Season 3, Episode 6 was an insanely stressful and shocking episode that included several big reveals and close calls. In typical The White Lotus fashion, many of the characters are learning things about themselves and their traveling companions that they never knew before, prompting entertaining but difficult to watch fights, like that of Kate, Laurie, and Lachlan in The White Lotus Season 3, Episode 6. Elsewhere, the Ratliff family is spiraling. Between Victoria's prescription drug abuse, Timothy's visions of death in The White Lotus, and the horrifying realization of the Ratliff brothers' incest following the full moon party, only Piper seems to be in her right mind. While the Ratliffs may be having the worst time of the bunch, Belinda and Gary seem set for a showdown in the final episodes, as do Rick and Shritala's mysterious husband. With several characters seemingly on the path to destruction, it is difficult to say who the victim will be, but a few people seem surprisingly safe. 8. Zion Lindsay. Belinda's son is the only character who is safe for sure. If there is any character that viewers of The White Lotus have probably crossed off their list as the potential victim, it is Zion Lindsay. Belinda's son has just arrived at The White Lotus Thailand after the other guests have already had time to cause chaos. Aside from him being happy to learn that his mom is enjoying Thailand, Zion has not really had time to do much of anything at all. Audiences have learned that he is a busy student, but other than a minor level of stress, there are no indicators that he is in harm's way. What's more, Zion is in the opening scene of the season where he hears gunshots. During a meditation session with Amrita, Zion senses the danger and goes out of his way to search for his mom, only to be the one to find the dead body in the water. Unless The White Lotus Season 3 completely changes its previous format and has more characters die after the first dead body is found, which seems very unlikely, Zion cannot be the murder victim. Instead, he is the unlucky person to find the victim. Much like Zion, Amrita is in this season's opening sequence. Zion notices the gunshots before she does, but once he points them out, she is quick to leave the room to look for safety elsewhere. While there is a slight gap between when she leaves Zion in the meditation room and when he finds the body, it is doubtful that it would be enough time for her to have been killed and then float over to him. It is much more likely that she just went to find safety for herself or possibly to notify the authorities. While Amrita has appeared throughout Season 3 more than Zion has, since she has been at the resort since before the guests' arrival, she still does not interact with the guests as much as some of the other employees do. Audiences simply have not seen that much of her, and every time she does show up in a scene it is very pleasant. Though Rick is often rude to the other guests and even his girlfriend, Chelsea, he actually has a seemingly good and honest relationship with Amrita. Because past victims have all had conflicts with other characters, Amrita just doesn't seem like she is the victim. 6. Pam. The health mentor has not been around much. Pam is another character that we simply have not seen that much of in The White Lotus Season 3, so on the whole it just would not make sense for her to be the victim. In the past 2 seasons, the victims have been main characters that we've really gotten to see fall into some bad situations. Whether it was Armand in Season 1 or Tanya in Season 2, the victim has been a character that audiences have been able to care about and see develop as the season progresses, and that just is not Pam. While, admittedly, Pam has had some frustrating interactions with the Ratliff family over their use of phones during their trip, she has not been around for anything else. Because the Ratliff family's problems are largely internalized within the family and don't involve them interacting with the other guests or staff too much, it seems unlikely that Pam is going to face any real threat to her life. To be quite honest, Pam's death simply would not be a satisfying conclusion to the season, and The White Lotus is too good a show to waste a season finale. 5. Laurie Duffy. She may be fighting with her friends, but I don't see them killing her. The Laurie, Jacqueline, and Kate friendship storyline in this season of The White Lotus has been very entertaining but incredibly stressful. Since Jacqueline slept with Valentin in Episode 5 and Kate and Laurie found out about it, Episode 6 was very tense between the friends. Laurie was much more upset about it than she was admitting to, causing even more friction in a group that was already centered around gossiping about each other. However, I don't see this friction leading to Laurie's murder. Whether Laurie was right or wrong to call Jacqueline out for cheating on her husband, their friend group definitely does not seem ready to resort to murder to solve their disagreements. We have already seen that all 3 of the friends are more than happy to gossip about each other, and it even seems like this has been their MO since childhood. Arguably, the 3 of them would be better off not being friends as they seem to disagree about something new every day, but I don't think their friendship will end with Jacqueline killing Laurie over the issue. 4. Victoria Ratliff. Her death has been teased too much. Parker Pose's performance as Victoria Ratliff has been absolutely hilarious this season, so it would be such a shame to see it end with her death. The North Carolina native has seemed completely out of her depth in Thailand, which she inexplicably keeps referring to as China, and has been drinking and taking anti-anxiety medication throughout the entire season. While these factors seem to hint that she could be the White Lotus's next victim, there is one simple reason I don't think it will be her. The show has hinted at her death far too much already.